How to play MERC. We already set up the players, the board, everything in a previous video. See the link in the doobly-doo for more information about how to set up the game. The initial setup is considered day 1, so we're starting here with day 2. The Rebel players go first each day, and their actions are clearly laid out on the Rebel player mats. One of the Red players' MERCs will take the Explore action. They'll consult the icons on the map sector card and draw the appropriate number of cards from each of the equipment decks. Note that this will give you a number of cards equal to the value of the sector. They'll then flip the sector card over to its dark side so everyone knows it's been explored. They'll take some time inspecting the loot, but all Rebel players can be doing this simultaneously to speed up the game. The MERC that took the Explore action can then equip the equipment, and any other MERCs present may spend an action to re-equip using any leftover equipment. Once selections have been made, they may tuck the equipment to save table space. Any remaining equipment should get stashed under the sector card and is available to any other MERCs that are here in the future. Red splits their squad using a free action, and moves a MERC to the other side of their mat to denote the squad split. Tack spends her last action moving to Hamadou City. Squirrel spends his last action training 3 militia, which he can do thanks to a bonus on his radio. Yellow also explores with their first action, as this is one of 3 common things for people to do with their first action. The other 2 being hire new MERCs if they didn't like what they got to start, and training militia. All MERCs present in the sector, if either taking an Explore action or a re-equip action, can mix and match any equipment that was found with any equipment that they are already carrying. This allows you to optimize your equipment for your MERCs, taking into account any of their special abilities, and allowing you to get the most out of any future actions with those MERCs. Giving a Red Crossworker an M16 and a mortar may seem like a mistake, but you'll see why on her next turn. Landmines are special in that they are triggered from the sector stash, but only if you remember to trigger them, so remember where you place them. Yellow splits their squad because Walter is an excellent trainer, so he will be staying behind to train a lot of militia. Vendredi and Teresa then join Tack at Hamadou City. With the Rebel actions exhausted, the Dictator will now take his turn using the actions listed on his mat. First, he'll choose a card to play and read it aloud. Sentry allows him to place 1 militia per sector not controlled by anybody, which nets him 5 sector value. His MERCs will then take their actions. He only has 1, and that MERC will explore. Sarge will equip himself, and then using the special accessory called Bandolier, will be able to keep all 3 accessories. As usual, remaining cards are stashed. Sarge's final action is to train 2 militia. The Dictator then draws back up to 3 tactics, and then can use his special Dictator power, which in this case allows him once per turn to draw 3 MERCs and hire 1 of them. Every Dictator has a different ability which changes the dynamics of the game every time you play. Also, once the Dictator plays a card that reveals his base, the Dictator himself is in play and can act like a MERC. His new hire, Natasha, can be placed on any sector he controls. The Dictator is now done and day 2 is over. Day 3 dawns and the Rebels are planning a coordinated attack, but first, Tack wants to own Hamadou City. Teresa uses her first action to fire a mortar at the gold industry outside of combat. This special ability of the mortar means that there's no initiative and nobody gets to shoot back. She adds up all of her stats, all of her equipment, modifies her stats, just like in combat. With her 5 targets, she chooses 4 militia and Sarge. With 6 combat, she rolls 6 dice, and each dice hits on a 4+. Plus, remember that her damage negates armor. 4 hits equates to 4 damage, which means she could kill 4 militia and do 1 damage to Sarge, but instead she chooses to do 3 damage to Sarge, killing him. When a MERC is killed, all of their equipment is discarded with them. Sarge's squad pawn is removed since he was the only one in it. There's still 1 leftover hit to kill 1 militia. But now Teresa's mortar is used up and discarded. The squads use their remaining actions to do a coordinated attack entering the sector, which immediately triggers combat. To start combat, you calculate the initiative of all combatants. Note that the Dictator always wins ties. Whoever's highest goes first. It will be Vendredi, then the Dictator's militia, then Tack, then Teresa. Vondrady targets Militia with his 3 dice and gets 3 hits, but because he only has 1 target, all 3 damage goes to 1 Militia. Each Militia gets 1 target, and they're all targeting Vondrady. They all hit, dealing 3 damage to Vondrady, and since he has no armor, he's dead. Tak has a chance to wipe out 3 Militia with her 3 targets and 3 combat dice, but she only gets 1 hit and kills just 1 Militia. Teresa only has 1 combat due to the -2 on her armor. Unfortunately, she misses, which starts a new round of combat. The rebels could retreat, but they stay and fight. The Militia go first and target Tak, but only get 1 hit on her armor. Once again, Tak could end this, but again, she only gets 1 hit and only takes out 1 Militia. Teresa has a chance to end this with her 1 combat, and she hits. The rebels have won this battle and this sector, but it's far from over. The Dictator still hasn't even gone this turn, plus there are 3 more days of fighting left. But after 1.5 rounds of play, you now know how to play MERC. You probably saw all kinds of things that you could have done differently had you been playing. Don't forget that you can also get the expansion, which increases the player count to 7, adds 4 new game modes and 9 new Dictators. Pull the pin and get your copy today.